the gist of it.
All right, no, but like it was so much fun being there. I always sit like behind the goal near like the bar, like opposite side of the ultras, and then the big drum's always next to me. And I swear the people by the big drum are always like louder than
Yeah.
the ultras, and they always do like
Bay Area, stand up and let's be heard. No more sitting in the shadows. We're known for our winning ways, and not being the best, that just ain't for us. We're loud, we're proud, and we're unapologetic about it. So even when times are looking as dark as the black and blue we wear on our crest, we tell them that Goonies never say die. And when we're done shaking things up on the pitch, there's another shake coming. This is something that's been created by the people, for the people. This is everything and anything San Jose Earthquakes related. This is Aftershock. Vamos, San Jose.
thing of the Ibo injury. Do you think that should have been a red, like from the TV? Because I saw it later on my like phone.
Yeah, it's always tricky when you come over the back of someone. I don't know. I mean, probably a yellow, honestly, for me.
Yeah, so in the stadium they like never show replays, but they like
I know.
No, they decided to show the replay for this. When I watched it live, I knew it was bad immediately just because J-Bo like went down, he was grabbing his head and like squirming, and then I mean like Abubakar is like massive.
Yeah.
Again, I'm behind the goal, and that was at the halfway line, so I didn't have the best view. But yeah, I thought yellow was fine. When I watched it back, it's tough because he kind of leads in and he's going into the back of him, and he only gets the back of him, and like it kind of looked like he was already bracing just to like realizing he wasn't going to get the header and he was just going to hit him. So like if it was the other way around, I would have been really mad if we got a red card for that, but like I could have understood it.
I don't know. I think that sort of play happens all the time, though. And
I think a yellow was fine. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I think it would have been a harsh red.
Yeah, I think it's just unlucky that he got injured from it. Honestly, I mean that sort of play happens a lot throughout the game. But I mean, it was really unfortunate. It was what in like the first minute and a half.
Yeah, around 2:30. But
yeah,
we're gonna be without J-Bo for a few weeks because he has history of concussions.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that this was just something light. I'm curious because whenever you're at like Earthquakes games, like even when we're losing, like they're just like so much more fun, and like obviously like you don't get the same perspective of the game, especially where I'm standing like behind the goal. I don't get to actually like analyze it as much, and I didn't have time to like watch it back. I just watched some highlights. How do you feel we performed in the game? Like, do you feel like it was 50-50? They were outperforming us. We did well. Like, what was your perspective of it from seeing it from the TV?
I think the first half it was pretty balanced, honestly. But then the second half, they definitely started out playing us, in my opinion. Aside from the last like 5 minutes after they scored, when we just kind of threw everything we had at them, I thought that in the second half, they had that crafty, really quick guy, Barrios. That guy destroyed us. And I don't know. It just was really difficult just marking the dribble against them. They got a couple good flicks here and there, but I don't know. I mean, what did you think? What did you think from where you were?
So I mean, we're never a possession team, but me and my friends that I went with, we were all saying like, yeah, we don't have possession, but we're playing good like soccer right now. Like we're playing fun, explosive, like we're just playing our style. And we're going like you said, I think first half was very 50-50. If anything, maybe we had more chance. There weren't really any chances in the first half, but we had the better ones. Second half, I think it was a different type of 50-50, where in the first half, it just like both ends, the whole game, like both sides were even, versus the second half, which was like, okay, Colorado would have 10 minutes of dominance. We would have 5 minutes of dominance. They would have 3 minutes. Like it would just go back and forth on the like dominating side. And then unfortunately they made that sub. And not only was it like the 89th, 90th minute.
I was or whatever.
Well, I was standing right behind the goal. And it was crazy because it was the sub that got subbed on. And they obviously water pitches, like professional pitches, if you guys don't know, because it makes the ball travel faster and players like that. However, we really watered that pitch at half, and I'm not trying to make excuses, but we all saw very clearly, like everyone who was around me, when the guy was breaking through, Jutsen goes to make the first challenge and then slips, so he doesn't reach the guy. He falls short of it. Then Nathan comes along, and then his back foot slips, so he overdoes the challenge. And then JT started to cheat near the right post to force him left. and he leaves left early, and his left foot slips, so he like falls on his knee and he can't make the full dive. So our last 3 players all slipped before, and again, can't use that as an excuse. Obviously, like both teams had to deal with the same weather. I'm not saying that's the reason it happened, but it was also really unfortunate. That's how we lose our unbeaten streak. So that's how I viewed the goal. I don't know how you saw it on TV.
On TV, I mean, obviously, watering the pitches is something that's maybe more visible from where you were, but on the TV, it just looked like Nathan lost the challenge. Obviously, he got turned a little flick, right? And then Judson and Alanis couldn't get over in time, and then it was just a good finish. I think
Great finish.
JT. I don't think JT had a chance, right? Once you got in that spot, I don't think you could blame him.
Oh, absolutely.
But Nathan and Judson, I thought they could have done a little bit better. Obviously, it's a little unlucky with the slipping, but they were dealing with that too. That's the counter argument.
That is I completely agree. Like, unfortunate that they slipped, and they had to deal with it probably a little bit worse, I guess, just the way they were running. But like you said, both teams are dealing with it, so you can't use it as an excuse.
Yeah.
This kind of brings me to my next point, and this was kind of something I was just like hearing murmurs around the stadium, at least where I was standing. How do you feel about Almeida during the game and his choices?
Honestly, I didn't really get to pay too much attention to Almeida. I was just focusing on the run of play, not really Almeida. But he subbed on Fierro right towards the end, and that hurt my brain because then Fierro managed to clear the ball on a rebound that he had a chance to put in. And then Marie came in later as well, but then he moved Judson to right back too. He played like a right center back. I don't know. It felt a little strange. It definitely felt like he was switching things up, but I thought Marie came in and he did well. I don't know. What were you referring to?
So I feel the starting lineup and how we played, people weren't really talking much. And one thing I noticed, at least this is what I was viewing from the pitch, and I really appreciate Almeida for this. It looked like we started with a 4-2-3-1, and then somewhere in the game, we kind of like in the first half ish, we switched to a 3-back. I wasn't sure on the exact formation, but it looked like a 3-back again. And I like that Almeida is making those changes, and I like those mid-game changes. I thought those were good. And I think in a game like this where both their strikers were like 5 foot flat, it's fine putting Judson at center back or right back. It's the subs that were kind of questionable for me at times. I didn't like the starting lineup per se, but that I don't see the training every week, so I can't complain as much of that. I just want to see Cal starting. I think Cal deserves to be starting. He's our all-star. He changes the game for us.
Yeah, it's a shame he missed that one chance. He could have.
I was that was on my side when he did that, and I'm sure it looked worse on TV, but like
he just hooked it.
The angle he hit it at, like he would have just had to hit it like a second quicker, but the ball was going so fast in front of him, like he was already at full speed. So it was like the angle was so narrow to score. Like it would have been pretty, especially on his right foot, it would have been pretty spectacular.
Yeah, once you get that close to the keeper, once the space closes down, you got to really be accurate, or you just kind of chip the keeper.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to shoot with his left foot, like open his hips and shoot with his left foot. But realistically, like he's going like already running forward, so he's not going to have time to do that. So
yeah, I think he needs to compose himself a little bit before he takes the shot. But yeah, I agree. He definitely brings another aspect, another dimension to the game.
Yeah, and I would have loved to see him and Jabo together because I feel like they connect well. And I like Shofis, but I don't think he's a good winger. Like I think he's better when he's more central.
I completely agree.
I think Remedy and Judson, they were, at least in the stadium, they were really fun to watch. They were pressing, they were forcing, they were doing what they do.
Yule, I swear.
Yule was rough. I saw him make one really good forward pass, but like I want him off set pieces. He's just not doing well on set pieces. And then he just wasn't really noticeable for us. And then it looked like he was panicking when he get the ball and like he had to kind of like run. It just, the confidence isn't there anymore. It looks like he's a little bit shot for confidence.
Yeah.
I love that he brought Espinoza on at half for Lucia. I love that. Great idea.
Yeah.
Looking to win the game. Really love, obviously Espinoza we won on the pitch. I feel like he impacted immediately. Feel like we see the game changing. When you're going for the game or you're down and you're in the stadium and you can kind of feel the energy sucked out and like you need a spark of energy. Seeing Cal come off the pitch and Fierro come on I swear I heard the whole stadium go, oh, like
I don't
it
know.
was
It's so
unbelievable.
true.
I liked. Oh God. Okay, I understood Wando coming on. I
Yeah.
didn't want him coming on that soon. I don't want him coming on an attacking midfielder.
Oh my
Um,
God, it was so frustrating watching him.
and it just changes. It doesn't bring an explosive dynamic to the game when you put him at striker versus like when you put Cal or Jabo up there or Espinoza. Like they add some explosivity. You just don't get that with Wando. Um, I liked Rios. I thought Rios did some really good hold up play for us, and he was winning us fouls, and he was doing well of like
Yeah.
delaying like them from crossing. So I thought Rios was a good sub. I'm trying to think who the other ones were. Marie came on, and he was in some good spaces, but he wasn't really getting played at that point.
Yeah.
I thought taking off Tanner Beeson was a poor decision.
Yeah. I agree.
I don't know if he's dealing with an injury or fitness, but he usually seems to, or maybe it's because he gets put at left back and he does a little bit more running, but he always seems to be the one to fall out of the three center backs.
Yeah.
So that I'd be curious to know why he's the one that constantly gets subbed off. Maybe it's just Almeida's preferences, but I really didn't like that either. It was just it was the final moment substitutions from Almeida that I didn't like. The rest, I think he got right. I like that he's trying to change formations during the game, and then obviously the injuries wasn't great. I didn't get to see my boy Tommy Thompson. He was warming up the whole game, but
Yeah.
that would have been I don't know. It would have been cool to see something fresh that isn't Fiero.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we can just circle back to what we mentioned before. I mean, we have other young players that we could bring off the bench onto the pitch. You know, players like Haji, and I don't know if Benji's still out. I don't remember seeing him, but I mean, either way, we do have players that we can bring on, and it's frustrating seeing Fiero and Wando every time. I don't
And
know.
one thing with Cal is I don't like him when he's like in a left mid or left like wing position, if you know what I mean, like where he's kind of like not on the bat, like on top of the like attacking. I like him as a forward. Like it doesn't have to be striker. Like I prefer him out wide, but I want him up. I want him against the back line when he's got to do all the tracking back or starts from a deeper position. I just feel like he's not as effective for us. So that's another thing I'd like to see change for the next couple games. Like just not.
Yeah, it's tough because that's just how Almeida wants his wide players to play.
Mhm.
You know, he likes them trafficking back. You know, Espinoza does a lot of work down that right hand side. And so I think he kind of expects the same with Cowell. But I agree. He's good when he's on the shoulder of the defense. And because he brings that threat in behind. However, he also in the last couple weeks or last couple games, I should say, he's had a little bit more success with the ball at his feet too, checking back and stuff. And so I think that if he can bring both of those dimensions into his game, he can be a lot more dangerous rather than the old Cal where we just saw him running in behind every single time, you know.
Yeah. You know what I'd like to see us in a 3-4-3, and I want the left side to be the left center back is Beeson, the left mid would be Shea, and then the left winger would be Cal. Like think of what a nightmare that would be for the right side of like any defense. Like how do you
Yeah.
deal with that?
Yeah, no, Shea would be good kind of in that middle position because
Yeah,
he
so he
does
doesn't have
work
too
hard.
much defense and too much offense to deal with. He can kind of negate both to Beeson or Cal, but also just be a supporting role for both.
Yeah. That just worries me through the middle, but no, I think they would be good to try. I mean, it's basically the same as what we play. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. We'll have to see what Almeida does going forward because I think you're right. I think he does need to be a little more creative still with his changes and tactics.
Mm-hmm. So this game, we were saying it when it was 0-0. We would have loved a goal, but like right before they scored, we said like my friends and I that were there, we said this deserves to be a tie. Like it's been pretty even. Like one team would be it'd be heartbreaking for either team to get scored on. Of course, 30 seconds later we get scored on. The problem is we've now dropped to 10th. We're 3 points behind being like in contention again, but we're still right there. But there's 12 games left, and we don't have an easy schedule. And Almeida said in the post game press conference that like what does he think? Like the next game has to be a win. Like that was the question. Like does the next game have to be a must win? And he said, I think the rest of these games have to be must wins with the position we're in. And I completely agree with that. I think we've dropped too many points, and I don't think this was necessarily not that obviously it wasn't a good result, but it was a good performance. Unlucky, but again, we've dropped too many points on silly games earlier in the year. And we had a huge win versus LA Galaxy. We didn't really talk about that, and we didn't have an episode for that. Great performance. Jabo got the great header. Great to see him get on the score sheet. Electric performance against a rival. But as far as moving forward, yeah, we just need to go on a run again. Like, and it's the same old story every season. Start off terribly, go on a run, lose a couple games. Final games of the season are all must wins, and maybe we make the playoffs. So this is the third year in a row we've had to deal with that under Almeida.
No, fully agreed. And, it just reminds me of all those games we drew, like 5 in a row. If we could get a couple 3-pointers from those, we'd be in a completely different spot and looking at a different point to the rest of the season. While there's still 12 games left, you're right. It's going to be tough because we're not safe by any means, and anything less than making the playoffs would be a complete failure. We can't afford that again. So,
and all the people that are close to us have been winning their games recently. The bottom part of the like playoff table has been winning. The only people losing games in the Western Conference recently have been the top half, but they're all like 20 points ahead, so they can afford to lose the rest of the games. Like,
yeah, I saw Seattle lost against
Sporting got spanked versus LA.
Sporting. Yeah, Sporting got spanked.
I
Seattle
was watching
lost
that
the
game.
game.
They got spanked. Yeah.
I watched the Seattle game against Portland last weekend. That was a good game, but Portland smacked them. Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's going to be a dogfight going forward. They've got a really big run of games coming up, and they have to execute better. The need to get points. You can't expect to be in the playoffs and you barely win games, right? I think they've won like what 3 or 4 games or something.
Yeah, I think the good news is obviously we were a little deflated after getting scored on in the 89th minute, as anyone would be, but we didn't give up. We fought. If anything, it woke us up. We were explosive for the next couple of minutes.
Yeah,
And then also, if you look at our schedule, it's not like we're playing every 3 to 5 days now. Now we're back to like kind of a weekly basis. We're playing every
yeah,
Saturday, so we get a week from that, and then we'll play Wednesday, which is a shorter turnaround, but that'll be a home game. Hopefully, we do a little bit better. There's gonna be some tough challenges, but the schedule's getting better, and we're having a lot of returning players. Benji's starting to feel better. Tommy Thompson's back in the warm-ups for the last 2 or 3 games, so maybe we get to see him again. So it's good to see all these players coming back, so we have some depth, and maybe we don't have to. Well, obviously we might have just lost Jabo, but at least we're getting more depth, and it's not we're really running on fumes like we were during that run.
yeah. No, definitely going into this last run of games, you want to try to mitigate against potential injuries. I think it would be good to see some rotation and hopefully take advantage of the depth that we do have and the players coming back.
Yeah, I'm hoping Espinoza can start, but I don't want to. I don't want to rely too much on him, and then we miss him during playoffs or miss him during the final 3 games. So watching,
Yeah,
Espinoza would be
same
good.
thing with Remedi. We don't want to burn them out too much because they're both essential.
That man gets abused. Like, I mean, we see it on TV, but like in person, it's a different level. Like that man gets abused. And
Well,
I'm
yeah,
sure
it's just the way he plays.
yeah,
He's so
yeah, yeah.
stocky. He's so stocky. He protects the ball. He uses his body well, and then he just gets clobbered for
Oh,
it.
I like him, Judson, and especially Nathan. The fans at the stadium love those three. Like
Yeah,
my friend, he hadn't seen Nathan before. And he's like, why do I keep hearing something about Nathan on like the subreddit on like Earthquakes Reddit? And like, what's so special? I'm like, it's like the passionate. I'm like, doesn't every play? I'm like, watch him for 5 minutes on defense, and then like Nathan went in for this big challenge, and then just went, yeah. And
yeah.
then my friend's like, yep, I love him, I love him. So it's very infectious, like on TV and in the stadium.
No, it makes a huge difference when the players are energetic. It just brings life into the stadium, that's for sure. And Nathan, he's definitely filled the gap that Youngworth left of a leadership thing that you mentioned. The thing that you said kept Youngworth in the squad. You said you
Yeah.
love Youngworth for his leadership, but obviously I'm playing. But yeah, no, Nathan comes in and he fills that role well. And especially when Wando's not on the field and Ewell has the armband or whatever, Shea has the armband. He helps fill that gap.
I thought Shea had a good game, at least like live. Like he was making runs and he was like going in hard. Like live, it looked good. I don't know how it looked on the TV.
Yeah, no, overall Shea he looked good. And this whole season, he's been pretty solid. He's getting up there, but I
Mhm.
mean he's getting up there in age, but he's
He did
still
say in an
actually
interview recently he has no plans of retiring anytime soon. So
I mean he probably could. There's no reason
that man's a
based off
pure athlete.
yeah,
Pure
based
athlete.
off of his performances so far this year, you wouldn't question that.
Mhm. All right, we can go to some fan questions. We haven't done this in a while, so these are from the backlog. We'll start with this one. Minstonian off of Instagram commented, hashtag ask Aftershock. What's the best starting 11?
Do you want to take this one first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I think we'll agree for the most part.
I think so too. That's why I wanted to see what you say.
Yeah, I think we're both agreeing JT should be starting.
What? You don't want Vega?
Yeah, Matt Persona with his knee injury.
Oh my
Um,
god.
uh, I actually like us in the back three more than I do in the four back. If we're in a four back, I want Abicasas as the right back. If it's a three back, I don't want Abicasas. And then the left back can either be, if it's a four back, I want the left back to be Lopez, and then the two center backs to be Beeson and Nathan. But I think the three backs are preferred, so we'll go with that.
Yeah, I think we look a lot more comfortable when we play in that style. It just flows better with the players we do have, right?
So for the three back, our three center backs can be the three center backs.
Yeah, there's no argument about that.
Yeah. And then I like the pairing of Judson and Remedy as the holding midfielders. And then I kind of want to see Shea out wide left. It could be Lopez though, if it depends on the game.
Yeah.
And then out wide right if it's a 3-4-3. Ooh, it's tough because I'd want Espinoza. You could have Tommy Thompson there. Abicasas does a job sometimes, but it's on and off. You could also change the formation so you could have a third midfielder, and that I kind of like Chofis over Yule right now, if I'm going to be completely honest. So I'd rather have Chofis there.
No, I fully agree.
And then up top, I want Jabo as the striker, and then if he's not there, Benji, I really like. If anything, like sometimes I think he should start over Jabo just because I haven't seen much of him, and like sometimes I think it just adds a dynamic. Cal needs to be our attacking left option, and Espinoza needs to be our attacking right option. I think those should be guarantees.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that lineup. It just brings up
coming off the bench. That would be nice.
Yeah, it just brings up the question of as these as Ewell keeps producing these performances. I mean, at what point is he gonna?
He won't be dropped. He won't be dropped.
I know, but it's just
he won't be dropped for two reasons, maybe three. One, he won't be dropped because Almeida likes to stick with his men, which I appreciate. Two, he's an established international player at this point, or at least like youth international, and he's like a big name. He's our big name, I should say, like other than Wando.
Yeah.
And then he's like kind of a co-captain, so that's really gonna make it even harder to drop him. Like just kind of for the squad mentality, and plus how Almeida runs the system. And then three, we don't really know what goes on in training. Maybe he's doing great there still, and maybe we're giving him a hard time. But like, I think it should be trophies over him right now.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, and then we move on to our final question, and in my opinion, the single-handed greatest question we have ever been asked on this podcast. And I don't know if you'll have an answer to it, but I'm very excited for this.
Oh my god.
Haley _ B67 commented, what is your favorite Hot Ones hot sauce? Haley, this is the greatest question in the history of questions. Jacob, do you have an answer to this? Because I have an answer.
Well, here's the thing, Saz loves to challenge us with these hot wings.
From the show, Hot Ones.
Yeah,
love the show. Sean Evans. Yeah. Anytime you want me, dog, please.
Yeah, but I've only really tried the hottest ones because those are the ones that Saz says are the most fun, the painful ones. So I'd probably just have to say the bomb because, it just ruins you. And so I have the most memories associated with that. It's the most memorable, for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But I mean, Saz probably has more of a palate. He's probably tried more of them. So
I have tried every single sauce that has been on the show for the last 6 seasons, and then my friend has a monthly subscription, so I've tried other ones from the company. So yeah, I do have a palate. This has nothing to do with the earthquakes, but it's a great question, so I don't care. It's my podcast. My all-time favorite is Shaquanda. There's multiple variations of it, like the original, like I think it's like the green curry one. That like any of the Shaquanda ones, but I think that one in particular is my favorite. But yeah, any of the Shaquanda ones. Number 2 on that list would be pretty much any of the heartbeat ones. It's like a brand. They'll come in like a thin bottle and they'll have like a little like ketchup or mustard top on them. though, like both of those are 0 heat, but like, oh, they just get the flavor perfect. So those are probably my top ones.